You have something to say? Well, save your breath. The way I see it, you don't have much more of them left. It wasn't a threat, fool, but it can be. You seem tired is all, out of breath. A son of Cloud Ruler Temple named me the Desert Fang. The Thalmor know me as Death's Courier. To you, I am simply Savashni, the Khajiit who spared your life. Akaviri, forged in a Dragonland, did a sword and armor of the blades, sworn to the service of the true Emperor. But know this, my sword serves no one. You could be Tiber Septim reborn, and I'll still send you back to the Divines with your head in your arms. I killed Thalmor not for revenge, but to survive. I'm no blade. The Order died the day they chose not to acknowledge the Emperor. Only the strong have the right to be masters of their own destiny. Without the Empire, the Blades are just a guild of half-wits playing dress-up. Like fools, they hold themselves up in their temple, like flies in a jar. All the Thalmor did was turn it over and cut off the air. If the Emperor looked in the eyes of the 100 heads in that cart, he would have seen half of them were malnourished and on the brink of starvation. 100 heads of 100 fools. I seek no vengeance for those who can't save themselves from a flock of robed toads. True, the one I killed to gain this armor was indeed a blade, a master of the dual sword technique, and my mentor. He was a man of 40 years, and I no older than a dozen when I first bested him in single combat, yet he was still my better, and our bodies would never be at an age where I could prove otherwise. At 16, my mentor had exhausted his use to me in terms of body. I would have granted him death right then, if not for the secrets his mind guarded. The Way of the Nine, stances and techniques derived from the teachings of the Divines. That was his legacy, and his gift to me, his only pupil. But only when I was ready. A phrase thrown around by masters of all disciplines who wish to teach their pupils the value of patience. What I wasn't ready for, and never would be, was religious nonsense with which he dressed the art of the kill. Now as I enter my prime, I search for the lesson that escaped into the void when we last crossed our blades. Fool, your words display the emptiness of your mind. It was my mentor himself who stated the stance of Arche was one passed on through death. Yet it's possible, as Arche governs life and death, that it was a test of one's scruples, and in killing him, the technique is lost to eternity. Yet if I hadn't struck the killing blow, then I myself would be lost to the void, and that's a trade only imbeciles like you would find worthy. You will understand little of what I speak, and much of it is of no practical use, but facile metaphors tossed around by dying man. But I will enjoy watching your brow twitch in confusion as I pass his words on to you. Take, for instance, Debella, the god of beauty. Fool, the stance of Arche is the very heart of the dual sword technique. Life and death, ice and fire. The nature of all things are born of two. This duality applies to both life and battle. When a mortal kills a foe, in that instant, Arche grants death to one and life to the other. Also, the priestly ones will tell you. Yet the true duality lies not in the dirt and stars, but in how the blade serves as both a sword and shield. Twin moons, one sky. Each blade shifts from offense to defense, a mirror reflection of the other, and the opponent knows not where to strike. Yet as it is not a single stance, but a motion that adapts to its opponent, it has proved as impenetrable in theory as it is in practice. It snowed that night when it should have rained. My mentor looked at the sky and said Kynareth was all out of tears. And I said, Kynareth does not cry for fools. We drew our swords and dashed through the trees, our feet rapping against the snow. The night before I had chosen my stance. While most would use the flurry of Akatosh, the technique is too violent. I could kill my mentor and lose sight of the very thing I sought to learn. And in the spiritual sense, the Father does not come before the Son. It was the defense of Zenithar that shielded me from his attack. If I saw both his blades as swords and not shields, I could parry, if not kill. Our blades clashed, but made no sound, muffled by the snowstorm. His swords came at me from all directions, but I kept my eyes on his feet. Or more precisely, the tracks he left in the snow. There was a pattern there, if only I had more time. To Akatosh, I went for the flurry and the kill. Yet when I saw his blade rise to the block, I hesitated, only to see that very blade run me through. It was then that he revealed the true essence of the technique. I assumed he moved to protect his life, when his stroke came for my death. But the blade missed my heart by the width of a cat's hair. I made no such mistake with his neck. Just like that, it was over. I dropped to my knees and reached for my potion as his body drowned in a cascade of snow. I tossed the half-empty bottle beside his severed head and said he could have the rest. When he didn't respond, I couldn't help but laugh. All of it, the tracks, the blood, and his legacy, washed away in a tide of white. What you consider a fight, or even a war, is nothing more than a brawl between drunken louts over a spilled drink. A great swordsman's talents are wasted in a war. Stray arrows, trebuchets, accidents. Many great warriors have been felled by the blade of chaos. One can't even trust his own side in the haze of war. Who's to say who's friend or foe, when your eyes squint through geysers of dirt and smoke? Like your queries, they range from the utterly pointless to the completely meaningless. Your ears fail you, deaf one. I don't fear chaos, nor death. I despise it. Only a fool acquires a taste for fish and proceeds to hunt for bears. Another simple query from a devout simpleton. The answer is tall, green, robed, and uglier than an imp. The Thalmor's tentacles extend all across Tamriel, but in Skyrim, their presence is weak. While they are busy protecting their vital organs, they will bleed out from their wrists with every Justicar I slay on the road below. Cyrodiil, fool, from the steps of Cloudrilla Temple, from whence I came before that, no one knows. A blade who had left the service found me as he descended the steps. To him it was a sign from the Divines. In truth, it was just a cowardly mother, waiting for the opportune time and a man with forlorn eyes. Having left the Order, his eyes were indeed tainted with sorrow, and for that he pitied this kitten when he should have abandoned it. Yet it was his newly discovered faith in the workings of the gods that inspired him to develop the skills for which I'm the caretaker. The world is full of such tales of fate and coincidence. That's what we burn into our memories. And all the other instances, every day we live without incident, those moments are never ascribed to the laziness of the gods, just forgotten. You are a simpleton to assume that I am only drawn by death. Life too flourishes in this hold. During the day, I visit Peakshade's tower to calm my blood and meditate on the way of the Nine. At night, the mountain top allows me to survey the land, and on clear nights, the swirl of constellations in the sky. There's a stag that passed through here, white as a summer cloud. The hunters think it would look better in red. Fools all become heroes when their opponent is a helpless beast. I confess, I've killed enough Spriggans to start my own sawmill. I could kill you too and sell the bone meal to my farmers. The dragon roosts in the hills to the south. Having just gained life, it's not eager for death. It avoids my steel. Be gone, then.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Oh, it's you again. What in blazes? Here, take a look at this.
Taylor,
Here, take a look at this.
I think you've had plenty, Full Wolf.
Doors over. There, why don't you use it?
Stupid lizard. I said give me some more drink, or I'll have your head on a...
I'm gonna break your tusks.
You're good. I wish I could use a bow that... Well...
This scroll, on the other hand, may point me to what I...
Curse you, grave robber. RK, take your soul.
RK. Blasted RK. 99 fools, life and death, delivered by my blades, and not one to stand on insurance of. You hear me? You cannot hide from me forever, my mentor. Ah, so the fool comes to dance once more, but it seems I've slain all your partners. Your claws are long and sharp, but our time will have to wait. All the better to savor it before it comes. First, I must take down my old mentor, and to do that, I need to sharpen my own claws. A sanctuary for the ghosts of the Akavir. My mentor once spoke of it in passing. Now all those ghosts have passed. It seems one of these ghosts was a greedy one. He had 2 legendary blades, away where the others would be blind to his duplicity. Why else, imbecile? To hunt my old mentor. Yet he continues to elude me, as does his stance. Idiot. Why do I even waste my breath speaking to you? This is not about a name or some fool's sense of glory. I seek perfection, knowledge, power. One is as light as a feather, and as fast as the arrow it fletches. Its edge doesn't appear to be as fine, but that's deliberate. A light blade with an edge is brittle, and this sword is as sturdy as it is swift. The other is as sharp and as piercing as a confession, heavy for an Akaviri sword, a blade meant to ward off blows and strike with force. Both are life and death incarnate. One knows not which role they play. These are the perfect weapons to slay my mentor once more. Not at all. Speak with your equal. Pat round balls of yarn. I have 2 swords to fetch.
Hey, stay quiet and follow me.
Make it quick. Be gone, then.
At times like this, I'm so glad that I decided to go to Skyrim.
You have arrived at last. Do not be alarmed. This pilgrim gave his body in service to the gods, as was his desire. It would appear so, but he and I are not one and the same. I merely used his body to conceal my spirit from my pupil. He is one of many pilgrims who offered his body to the ghosts of this hall. I accepted his bargain. Now I must find my absolution, as he found his. I have. Ever since my death, I have been waiting for you to come. Waiting for a sign. Then today you enter on the heels of my pupil. This is no coincidence. Truly the gods are great. disciple, for when we ignore the teachings of the Divines, we throw ourselves in a pit of despair. In life I made one such mistake, and while the gods will not rescue me, in you they offer a rope so that I may climb the walls of redemption. Forgive me, where are my manners? My name is Garrett. I am Savashni's former master, and steward of the Way of the Nine. The 8 came easily enough. It is the 9th that eludes her, and it is little mystery why. Contrary to her belief, it is not about whether one can overcome their fear of death, nor is it about embracing fear in order to value one's life. If it were derived from such platitudes, no doubt she would have long since mastered it already. No, the stance of arcane is a technique that requires an understanding of the Divines. You see, everything from the air we breathe to the ground under our feet is governed by arcane's influence. In combat, the rivers of life and death flow into a single current, and only one who yields to arcane's will can know where they part. Savashni thinks of the religious and the practical as 2 separate planes. At no point did she consider they can be wielded as one. Who can say? It belonged to the Needs at one point, and the Akavir at another. As such, the ghosts of Atmora and Akavir roam these halls. It is the latter with which my pupil has quarrel. She thinks that facing me once more will afford her a second opportunity to learn the stance of arcane. Yes and no. Technically, it will grant her the opportunity she desires. Yet, without faith, even 1,000,000 opportunities are as good as none. The stance of arcane is based on instinct and flow, and the rivers of life and death. It cannot be understood without first understanding the gods. It may sound impossible, and to my pupil, that made it so. Still, one who understands how arcane commands life and death knows the 2 states are nearly identical. However, the gap between us cannot be crossed by one side alone. It requires 2 willing partners to bridge. To end the life of my disciple, and to demonstrate to her the power of the Divines. To accomplish that, you must endure what she would not. Only through the pilgrimage of the Divines can you prove your worth. When you have walked the supplicant's road, then you will be ready to inherit the stance of arcane. She humiliates herself with her refusal of the gods. This is their retribution. That is wishful thinking on behalf of my pupil. She wishes to believe she is close when she couldn't be more far. My hope was that in our fateful battle, she would experience a divine intervention, as these pilgrims do when the end draws near. If she failed to embrace the Divine's teachings, she would die by my hand. Such is her skill that this is the outcome we endure. You too will face a similar test, but you do not have to do it alone. I need you to receive the blessing of 8 warriors of the Divines. Together you will be able to see the rivers of life and death flow through your stars, but only as long as the 9 of us are bound to your will. Such is the consequence of shortcuts, but we do not have the time for the long road. First, you must find a brute of Talos, a warrior whose very breath is a declaration of war. Second, the embrace of Mara. Only one who fights for love will burn the embers. Third, the mercy of Stendar. Claim the warrior whose very weapon is forbearance. Fourth, the tear of Kinnereth seeks the one who walks amongst the beasts and gives life to the soil. Fifth, a mind of Julianos. Only one whose intellect is sharp as my blade will pass this test. Sixth, a mark of Debella. Find one whose beauty is profound enough to melt a heart of steel. Seventh, a scale of Zenithar. Seek the aid of one who fights for coin and tip the scales toward your victory. Lastly, the judge of Akatosh. Only a warrior who claims lordship over the realm of time will light the path. When you have been blessed by 8 who are worthy, and the 8 flames are lit, then I will stand as the 9th. Now go, my young disciple, and keep the gods in your heart.
The suffering the Daedra cause will not go unpunished. None escape the vigil. All come into the light.
Alt, you approach the Vigilant of Stendar. State your business. I apologize, but I cannot and will not abandon the vigilance at this hour. War is upon us. I can only hope that those at the hall have prepared themselves. Then Stendar have mercy upon us all. We came here on rumors that a Dawn Guard was forming, and found scant evidence as to why. Keeper Carset saw no reason to pursue it further. Nevertheless, she sent a few of us to scout the rift. In the event any leads turned up. I was on my way here when I was assaulted by 4 Nightwalkers. I would not be alive if not for a chance encounter with my old Dalmar friend Jorulith. Her magic is still formidable, and her politics still reprehensible. Thankfully, on that day, I only needed one. Then you must look elsewhere. I make no bargains. If you truly wish to lend a hand, then commit yourself to the Order. Only then can... Vampires.
To arms, vigilance! Rend them all to dust!
Shut up! I'll smash her head! You leave her alone!
You fought valiantly, adventurer. I am in your debt. As you have proven yourself to walk in the light, then perhaps I was wrong to deny your request. What exactly is this task you speak of? Yes, it seems the gods shine their gaze upon you, and Stendar could have very well brought you here, so that I may drag your foes into the light. You have my attention, pilgrim. What is it you ask of me? Then you will have it, pilgrim. Walk always in the light.
Strange.
Need something?
All praise be to Mara. Death to those who turn away from her embrace. Maybe, but the two aren't mutually exclusive. I have come to pray and ask for forgiveness. I have killed in Mara's name, slain those who have broken the sacred vow. If I have erred in doing so, I ask Mara for her mercy. Possibly. Not every whisper comes from the Brotherhood's lips. Not all the Void's children prayed to Sithis. Do you seek my services? First, one must speak a name. Maybe, but I'm no killer. It takes more than a name. An offense must be committed against Mara. I have a code, like most. Many whisper the name of an abusive spouse, or a cheating one. They come to the temple and seek my ear. They pray to Mara, but they speak to me. Perhaps. But the temple cannot function without donations. Nor can I. Maybe I enjoy it. Duty and love are at times one and the same. Here, the orphanage in Riften. Although rarely do I ever get a chance to come home. I'll consider it. But if it's passing out Dinya's letters, then rest assured, I already do. Then perhaps you are the forgiveness I seek. Very well. I will help you on your pilgrimage. Understood. Mara, protect us both.
Caravan Khajiit think the guard racist, but they simply haven't paid the gate fee. That is how Riften works.
Did you hear that noise? Wonder what it was. You think you can eat me? Go ahead. I'm not afraid of you.
that bow. I thought I heard footsteps. Be careful.
Wow, have you ever seen anything so amazing? Why aren't there more people here? Tours must be organized, paintings commissioned. As adventurers, it's our duty to show people this tree. Yes, dispatch the couriers. Have the Jarls make a decree. To each and every citizen of this land, I say, open your eyes and behold its beauty. It would, if the temple actually stood for Dibella's teachings, or if they actually stood at all. I've heard those priestesses spend most of their time on their backs. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds suspicious. That sounds vital. And Dibella has chosen me to be her champion? What an honor! I'll need to get my hair done and my armor polished. I need to look my best. Oh gods, what if my best isn't good enough? What if there's someone else prettier? What do the others look like? It is? I mean, I've always suspected as much, but to hear you say it, are we... Oh my, what will I tell everyone back home? Okay, I accept on both counts. Just say the word and I'm right behind you. Until next time.